It was a bit surprising. John Ray Reed decides to enter the transfer portal.
You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into Locked On Syracuse. I'm Jackson Holzer, and thank you for making us your first listen of every single day here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day, and we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And folks, this is the second of two podcasts today. This one will be a mini podcast talking about Syracuse losing a player in the transfer portal. Of course, we are talking about football right now. Center John Ray Reed, according to On3, is in the transfer portal. It was a little bit surprising. I won't lie to you guys about that. But where does Syracuse go from here? That we're going to talk about later on in this mini podcast. Do they stay in-house? Do they look for a center potentially in the portal? We're also now going to talk about John Ray Reed's career with Syracuse football. So John Ray Reed is very interesting. He was one of those players that started his career in JUCO, and he benefited from the Diego Pavia case. The NCAA granted him another year of eligibility, and after the Holiday Bowl, he was very clear with his wording on Twitter. He announced it himself that he is using the extra year of college eligibility granted to him, but he did not specify it was going to be with Syracuse. So I did a podcast the next day on the Orange's offensive line and how it could really benefit from the Diego Pavia case and everyone potentially getting an extra year. John Ray Reed was included in that, and I figured he was going to return to Syracuse, but he was careful with his wording. I made sure to give that disclaimer, and lo and behold, he decides to enter the transfer portal. John Ray Reed has been Syracuse's starting center for the past two seasons. He was better in 2023, where I believe he was only responsible for one sack given up. In 2024, he was the 14th rated center in the conference, according to Pro Football Focus. So 14 out of 17 teams in football in the ACC is not very good, but ideally, I would have wanted him back for another season because it's one of those things where you can just pencil him in as a starter and not have to worry about it. Plus, he might have been playing with injuries in 2024, and you can potentially bank on him improving or getting back to the level where he was in 2023 for this upcoming year. But nevertheless, he's in the transfer portal. It's not a huge loss. It's not like John Ray Reed was an All-American, but it's certainly a loss. This is a starter that the Orange are going to have to figure out how to replace, and they have multiple choices to do that, which we're going to talk about soon. They could decide to get another center in the transfer portal. They could also remain in-house. They do have a couple of options in-house. Overall, I do want to wish John Ray Reed nothing but the best, and I hope he finds what he's looking for in the transfer portal. Best wishes to John Ray Reed on a very productive Syracuse football career. He has been with the team since 2023. I'm Jackson Holzer. This is Locked On Syracuse. John Ray Reed, Syracuse's starting center the past two seasons, is in the transfer portal. We just talked a little bit about his career. Now, coming up, we are going to talk about replacing John Ray Reed this offseason. I love going to live events, whether it's sports, music, theater, or comedy. One of my favorite memories was attending a concert last year. The energy and excitement were unforgettable. Now, Gametime has made it easier to get tickets for your favorite events with their new feature, Gametime Picks. This feature filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Recently, I was looking for tickets to an upcoming event using the Gametime app, and with Gametime Picks, I found amazing deals and could even see the view from my seat before buying. The super deal was particularly impressive, offering great seats at unbeatable prices. Plus, the app's all-in pricing feature shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. The best part, when I won, I got paid instantly. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONCollege, LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Game time. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up a W. I love betting on which players will score a touchdown and how many points each team will score. It's thrilling, and not only can you bet on who will win the game, but FanDuel also has bets for which players will score a touchdown, how many points each team will score, and so much more. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Syracuse football has two choices to replace starting center John Ray Reed this offseason. He is in the transfer portal, according to On3, as of yesterday. Option number one to replace John Ray Reed. You can stay in-house. Now, this is not a simple promotion. What do I mean by that? It's not like Syracuse can take their backup from this past season, which was Josh Iloa, and just make him the starting center for the following season. And you might be asking yourself, well, why is that the case? Well, it's because Josh Iloa is out of eligibility. However, they still do have a couple of in-house options to be the starting center next season. Option number one, you got Codie Hornsby, 6'3", 320 pounds. He's soon to be a redshirt senior guard, I want to say, because he was a redshirt junior this past year. The staff has been training him to be a center, so perhaps he is the heir apparent, and we just don't quite know publicly as of right now. Codie Hornsby is certainly an option to be the starting center. That's in-house. You also got Kahlil Stewart, a 2025 true freshman 3-star recruit, but what I love about Kahlil Stewart is that he's got the size out of high school. 6'4", 325 pounds. I do believe that if Syracuse were to go in-house, I believe that, at least at the start, Codie Hornsby would have the edge in the beginning. And that's because he has the experience. He's just been around the game longer. Now, they would have to move him from guard to center, but it's not, I don't think, too difficult of a transition to make. I think he starts off with the upper hand if they go in-house. However, there is this caveat of Fran Brown is going to play the best player. He's not afraid to play true freshman. Murad Watson was a true freshman this season, the defensive tackle. He played a lot, freshman All-American. Marcellus Barnes, when he was still with the team, he was playing. He's not afraid. So it's going to go to whoever is best out of probably one of those two options for the starting center if they remain in-house. However, option number two, you got the transfer portal. You could look to find a center in the portal or look to find a guard and move that player to center. It's on the staff to evaluate which one is the best option. It is. If they believe that they have an adequate in-house solution for this upcoming year to replace John Ray Reed, then by all means, that is probably the best option. In fact, it's always best when in doubt to just stay with what you have that's already with the program. However, if the staff feels that there is a clear upgrade in the portal that is realistically attainable, then I think they would pounce. Get it? So they have two choices. Pretty straightforward. They can stay in-house, go with one of Kahlil Stewart or Codie Hornsby, or number two, they can go in the transfer portal and try to find a center. Leave a comment in the comment section below what you would do if you were Syracuse in building out this offensive line, but more specifically, their starting center for the upcoming season. As far as what is coming up on the podcast in the future, tomorrow I still have the day open as far as topic-wise, but there will be a podcast. I'm thinking it's going to be football related, all things being equal, and maybe we'll get some news on Kyle McCord and or LaQuint Allen very soon. Hopefully, that would be great. As far as what's coming up on Friday, we got Poll Friday, which is how many wins for Syracuse basketball in ACC play. They're already off to an 0-2 start, so probably not much. But that's what we're talking about on Friday. And on Saturday, Syracuse basketball has another game. They are playing Florida State at 6 p.m. Eastern, and there will be a full post-game reaction podcast. Thank you for making Locked On Syracuse your first listen today. And for your second listen, you can check out the Locked On ACC podcast. Alex Dono and Kenton Gibbs, they keep it real and bring you the truth about where your favorite ACC team stands within the conference. You can find Locked On ACC on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Folks, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. If you like this video, click that like button. If you really liked it, subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications so you know right away when I am dropping the next podcast. And I will see you all again very soon.